What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Hammer Show. Glad to be here. I'm your host, Mr. Daytona. I'm just gonna get a couple people added in here. I got a big announcement to make real quick and get the show popping on that end, no doubt about it. Good to see everybody in the house. Let me see who's up in here. I see old Tony Montana. What's going on, Tony? Good evening to you, my brother. We got a couple things to talk about today. We got a couple things about the break that just happened over there in Augusta, Georgia, in the cow pastures. We got two special guests coming on. But right about now, I know you guys are wondering, hey, man, where's your co-host? Where's your co-host, old Jimmy Swagger? What's up, Brown Hornet? Good afternoon. Good evening. Jimmy is no longer part of the Big Hammer Show. Unfortunately, he gave me a notice 48 hours ago, told me he wasn't going to do it anymore. And I asked him why and what can I tell the viewers? And he said, tell him I got another job, in Jimmy fashion. But in all reality, he said he was working on a station and it's just a little bit overwhelming, the stuff that's been going on behind the scenes in terms of, what's up, Hambone, in terms of all the stuff that happened with the competition. A lot of guys don't know that watch the show. There's a lot of people that behind the scenes that are real negative and kind of drug it down. I think it took a toll on Jimmy and thus he tapped out. So from here on out, it's just going to be me. I'm going to get another co-host here on out, but hopefully starting next week. The producer he's been doing Bobby Blackjack has been doing a lot of DJing, and he's the one that has the board so we could do some phone calls. So I'm in the process of me and my wife are in the process of buying the board, so that way I could have I'm gonna do it myself. That way I could have phone calls and you guys can interact and ask questions rather than me rely on the comments. But yeah, Donald takes a strong mofo, but it is what it is, man. People go through stuff. I can't fault the guy. There's a lot of negativity behind the scenes that you guys don't see. But the show must go on, man. As long as I got breath and I'm feeling good, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to give you guys some good content, some good interviews. I'm going to report on the breaks, report on what goes on during the week. And we're still going to have the Region 3 competition. We're just waiting for settling, for the skip to settle down and whatnot. But that being said, New Kid also had some situation with somebody in Pal Talk copy and pasted some certain personal stuff and send it to his daughter. I'm not going to get too into it, but they did some stuff to his daughter and kind of affect his personal life. So he's taking a bow out too. So, it's a shame that, people go and do some things to that extreme to where you involve family. It ain't cool. But, being I'm not saying a personality, but being somebody that does a show such as a podcast to where all we do is ask the questions, but people want to kill the messenger. People want to kill the messenger, but it's all good. Love New Kid to death. I respect him for what he's doing. I don't want nobody messing with my family. It's a shame, but show must go on. Jimmy's doing moving to bigger and better things. So love him to death too. But it is what it is, man. I'm going to roll until the wheels fall off. But as you guys know, we were probably one of the primary, if not the first podcast out there, CB related. So we made history. We got the bowl to kind of get shooken up a little bit. I was just watching the Brown Hornet show, good show right before this show. Tommy Gunn got his own thing down the hall. So, it's not like we're the only thing that's available. You guys got options now, which is a good thing. Love y'all to death. Appreciate if you still love us. Give us a like, a love. We're still on YouTube. You can follow us on the Super Bowl 6 Skip Talkers page on Facebook. You can follow us on the Big Hammer podcast page on Facebook and the Big Hammer competition page. So with that being said, man, I want to say thank you for the love and the support. We're still going to be doing it. I'm going to get some co-hosts, not somebody stationary right now. I'm going to get, people to come on and kind of like kick it and vibe. And eventually I get another co-host. Hopefully I'll be able to survive because some of these guys are brutal, man. What's up, 241? Top of the afternoon, everybody. Much love to y'all. I'm feeling a whole bunch better. A lot of guys ask me about my surgery and stuff and what I'm going through. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm able to, hit them damn foot pedals, and that's what counts, man. Have some fun. Yeah, Tony, we're gonna have we're gonna post a link. One of the producers is gonna post a link for Pitbull's GoFundMe page. We're gonna talk about that in a little while. But that being said, I wish Jimmy well on whatever endeavor he goes, whatever he does. New kid as well. But we're gonna still keep doing a Big Hammer show. We're still gonna have the Big Hammer competition. So yeah, you're gonna have to go watch the show again, fat man. But we still gonna go. We're gonna still rock it. We're gonna still have great guests, great interviews. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some different things here. We're gonna have some Watergates. We're gonna recap stuff. We're gonna have phone calls. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to interacting with you guys and bringing guests in and be able to kind of bring you guys on board. I'm gonna have a couple phone lines to where you guys may join and just kick it and have some fun. With that being said, appreciate y'all. Appreciate the love. I'm gonna touch a little bit on the break this weekend. I want to go into the Augusta, the cow pasture break. It was a good break. Just to start off saying the weather was crappy. It was kind of like, wow, let me put a little bit of background music here. It was kind of a little bit rough. It was cold and it was kind of nasty. But over there at the Kedon grounds, when I got there, it was the AC Sky. They were going to skip right into the AC Sky guys. And congratulations to Dangerous T-Bird for winning the AC Sky. If you guys want to check out the video, I put a live video on the Big Hammer competition page. If you guys didn't see it, you guys could go back and watch it, where I had a live feed of the Kedon during the Kedon 55 arc from D1 to D2, which is, if you guys don't know, it's the first director to the second director. And needless to say, he lost. I'm not making an excuse, but it was a visible thing to watch to where he arced out. So when you arc out, your signal probably just goes to the ground. But got to give my props to Dangerous T-Bird. Them guys are up in age, man. We got to give them guys love. They're in their 70s and above. And Dangerous T-Bird, toted his truck over, that pretty blue and white truck over there, and set everything up. Shout out to Control. I believe he helped up with the antennas. Terry, as usual, with the yellow wagon, just driving over there. The grocery getter. That dude gets his groceries, go to break, dusts his britches, and then goes home driving. So you got to give him mad props for that. So he won the AC Sky, Dangerous T-Bird. Then they went down to the 2 alternator class with Controller and BA, Bad Attitude out of Philly, and Controller out of the Carolinas. And there's a little, from what I understand, there was a little bit of discrepancy in terms of how it was called. I actually asked Controller to come on the show, but he declined for right now. He said he's going to come on a later date with his family in Philly, which is all good. And try to get a hold of BA, couldn't get a hold of BA. I wanted to see what went on in the Watergate room. I know Danny Frechette 123 posted a video of what happened, so I'll leave it. If you guys want to check his video out, you get a little bit more detail on what happened. But as far as I know, Controller won the 2 alternator class by saying bingo, bingo. BA had said 111, but they had heard worldwide, so there's a little bit of discrepancy there. So I can't put my 2 cents in there because I wasn't in the Watergate room. I was at the Kedon. And I see the call on the field was for worldwide. But from what I understand, BA was saying 1. So at the end of the day, Controller was given the win. It was overturned. So that's how it went down. So with that being said, congratulations, Controller, 2 alternator champ. I don't know when the next break is going to be. I think the next one is in Virginia. So I'll keep you guys updated on that break. And I will keep you guys updated on let me catch up with these comments here. For the next break, and we're going to go, if I'm able to get there, I will be there and having a live feed so you guys can enjoy it. Some guys were like, hey man, the live feed was kind of shitty. Well, it was because me, like a dummy, went up to Georgia in shorts thinking it was going to be warm, and it was 57 degrees. I'm from Florida, so it was cold. And then it was raining in the boots. So hopefully I'll go prepared, a little bit better prepared, to have you a little bit more videos and so we can have fun. But I will be going to the next break, Lord willing, creek don't rise, and I'll be bundled up if it's cold, and I'll be in my white beater, my flip-flops if it's hot, that's for sure. But that being said, congratulations to the winners, Controller. Congratulations to Dangerous T-Bird and AC Sky. Mike Tyson out of, I believe, Mississippi won the 2, 4, and 8 pill class in the DC classes. So much love to him, and congratulations, guys. Another thing I want to touch up on is Mean Pill's wife, Lady PK, Lady Painkiller, passed away. So our deepest condolences to our brother, and keep him in your prayers. And it's a terrible loss. So we're sending love out to him. Another thing I want to bring up is the Cutoff Man call out. I know Cutoff Man was all over social media. Oh yeah, that's right. We got the break up there in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Don't forget that. You guys can see the flyer on the podcast page on Facebook. We got the page for the Michigan Cookout. You guys need to go over there. I'm damn sure going to try to go over there and get eyeball and hang out with the fellas. But getting back to the Cutoff Man call out, it was all over social media. Cutoff Man calling the diva out. Oh, that's Lady BA. And that's the reason why I wanted to go to the break. I wasn't planning on going to the break, but once that call out came up, I was like, man, I need to go to see this because this is going to be good. But needless to say, the diva showed up. Cutoff Man didn't show up. From what I understand, he had some issues with his transmission, couldn't make it. So, it is what it is. But that's why when you call somebody out, you got to be ready, man. You got to have a plan B. You can't just go out there calling somebody out and then the shit turn around on you, man, because I love Cutoff. No, don't get me wrong, but sometimes we just gotta keep our mouth shut and let the trucks do the talking. Cutoff, don't get mad at me, bro. But it is what it is. Hopefully you'll be ready for the next one, and we'll see what you can do against the diva. The diva showed up. Fortunately, wasn't able to key with anybody. So it is what it is. That being said, man, I got a couple. I'm not gonna drag out the show because it was kind of put on me. I just found out that Jimmy wasn't gonna be on literally Wednesday afternoon. So I didn't really have enough time to prepare. So I got these two gentlemen on that stepped up and were willing to do a quick interview. And I'm not going to do a quick interview, but they're willing to step up and kind of fill in the gap. But next week, like I said, I'm going to be better and more prepared to where I'm going to have you guys calling in. And what's up, Black Gold? 37. And we're going to be a little bit more prepared, having some phone calls where you guys can interact. And we're going to have the topic of the day to where you guys could talk about, or heck, you guys could even bring it up until I get another co-host, man. But until then, I will have some co-hosts temporary and see who fits in and see how it works. But the show must go on. The show will keep going on. Like I said, shout out to the guys doing shows. Tommy Gunn doing his thing over there. Shout out to Brown Hornet, did a show right before us. So y'all check them out. Show them some love too, man. Good afternoon, everybody. What's up, 37? What's up, Pork Chop? Hello, everybody. Glad you guys joined in. And for those guys that just joined in late, Jimmy Swaggart is no longer part of the Big Hammer Show. He kind of bowed out, just said he had other things that he had to take care of. He wanted to do he was working on the station, and he just told me to tell you he got another job. And he started laughing. So, hey, no love lost, man. It is what it is. Some people grow, some people, it's seasons. It's peaks and valleys, so we just got to move on and keep it moving. That being said, I got a couple guys I want to introduce here. One of these guys are real good. Both of them actually real good friends of mine from when I lived up in New York. And guy's been around forever. He's a transplant from New York, moved down to Carolinas. And let me pull it's hard because bear with me, guys, because I'm doing all the producing and everything on my own and the comments and everything. So, and I'm pulling these people up. Yeah, share it. If you like it, share it. Go to the YouTube page, Big Hammer Show. We're on Big Hammer Show podcast on Facebook, Big Hammer Show competition. Like I said, the competition is still going to be. I didn't fire him, 37. 37, I didn't fire him. He left willingly. 37, he left willingly. Jimmy being Jimmy, he left willingly, man. With that being said, hey, man, I got this brother from New York, moved down to the Carolinas. 10-8 brother, been doing this thing, and I just want to bring him on, Mr. Skyhawk. What's going on, Skyhawk? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Daytona? Thanks for having me. Love the show. Like what you're doing.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you coming on. And it was kind of like a last-second deal because I didn't really, it all worked out. It all worked out because when we went to the break this last weekend, I was looking to see who can I approach to get on the show for this weekend. Then when I got a hold of Jimmy, he was like, I'm not going to be able to do it anymore. So it kind of put me in a little bit of kind of a little bit of a bind, but you know, we improvise. You know how CBers do. We improvise. We come together. And so when you went up there and spoke about our brother Pitbull out of New York and his GoFundMe page, kind of like, you know, it hits home because we're gonna get into it in a little bit. It kind of hit home, and I said, you know what? I started thinking about let me have Skyhawk come on and we could talk a little bit about that and about the GoFundMe page. But right about now, man, it's all about you, man. The stage is yours. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad you came on the show. As usual, we try to get the guys on here to leave their legacy and find out, you know, where they came from, where they are in the hobby, and where they see the hobby going in the near future. Because you know, when we're gone, man, the only thing that people are going to rely on is what they heard about us and what they talked about us. But right here on the Big Hammer Show, man, we're giving people the opportunity to tell their story, because this is history right here. We'll be able to have it archived to where somebody say, go down to the YouTube page and blah, blah, we got Crack Carter, we got this Skyhawk. You know what? I missed that show. I know who Skyhawk is. Let me check him out and see where he come from. Where did you come from? How did you get involved in the radio? And how did you get started?
Yeah, you know what? That's a funny story because growing up, you know, electronics, hooking wires together, making a light bulb light up. I remember when I was young, I was under 7 because I know I moved from Bed-Stuy to Crown Heights at 7 years old. So I had to be like 6 years old. I went around the corner to the corner store to buy a light bulb. And I told the man in the store I needed a light bulb because I'm going to put them in a tube, like a paper towel tube, a toilet tissue tube, and I'm going to put a wire and make the light bulb light up. And the guy said, that's not going to work. I couldn't believe the man in the store told me it wasn't going to work. But growing up, my mother and father, they had them children's encyclopedias, and they had experiments for you to try. So I went home and had that light bulb light up, and you put another battery, it got real bright, you put another battery, it blew, right? But from then on, I was already hooked on the electric and electronics. My brother came home in 1977. I had just graduated from grade school. From 8th grade. My brother came home with a CB radio from a summer job. Somebody he was working with had CB radio. He came home with it and we started hooking up. But we were living in the projects then. In the projects, you can't have no antennas. Even though in the project, everybody had antennas out the window. So that's what we did. We'd stick our antenna out the window and kept going with that. And the way it was back then, housing during the week, housing worked from Monday to Friday. From Friday night, 5 o'clock, housing, all the people were gone. We stick our big stick out the window, up on the fire escape, stick the big stick out with some straps holding it 15 feet of pole, because we was on the 5th floor and we were trying to clear the roof. Wow. And that's how we talked. But my brother, he didn't stay with it. He got like a lot of attitude. He'd get mad real quick. So, you know, CB radio ain't for the...
Wasn't for him.
Yeah. So he didn't stick with it that long, but it stuck with me like nobody's business, man. And I was hooked from then. So, you know, I kept going with it. I had my little breaks on and off, talked with it in through the projects. And when I moved, you know, everywhere I moved, I tried to set up a little system. I remember when I moved to Crown Heights, I was out of the radio for about 5 years. I moved to Crown Heights. My brother had bought a house there. I moved in the top apartment in his house. And I'm listening to my radio. I'm listening to the TV, the stereo, and Big Sash is coming through the radio. I didn't even know him at that point. So I'm sitting in the house, and I'm like, what the heck? I said, I refuse to have somebody come through my stuff. I got too much stuff in the closet. Now I jumped ahead because during the time I was on the radio, Pitbull, Brown Shoes, and myself used to compete against each other. We all had like 4 pills around the same time. I remember they had a Texas Star. I had a Hercules 500. And then I got a TNT 1000. They had the 12 packs. And we all were kind of neck and neck for a while before Brown Shoes did a big jump. And then a little after that, then Pitbull went up. I stood with my DC stuff because growing up, you know, I was married for like 13 years and I got divorced. And when I got divorced, I ended up being a single parent. So now I had 5 kids, you know. My youngest was in kindergarten and my oldest was in 6th grade. So I was still on my CB stuff. And my daughter just told me the other day how she was telling somebody how they used to hate that they used to get ridiculed because their father was running around with these big-ass antennas in the car. And everywhere we go, people were always looking at us. Even when I had a custom van, you know, I had 2 antennas on top of the custom van. You know, I I went into that fiberglass top. I put a piece of aluminum on the top of it. You know, a CB was my thing, so it wasn't nothing I could do for it. So, you know, but Pitbull used to always be telling me, like, hey, get into the AC stuff. But I told him I ain't touching it because I was scared of the high voltage.
Yeah.
So it ended up, I had that TNT 1000. I bought another TNT 1000 for somebody for a good price. And I put the two heat sinks together because at that time, and I'm trying to think if this was like 89 or 88, 89, somewhere around there, I didn't know where to go buy big heat sinks. So I took TNT 1000s, took it to the job because I was working at Con Edison then, and had them weld the two heat sinks together. And then I took the two TNT boards, put them together and wired them up together and, you know, made me a bigger relay and all of that stuff. And I used the 16 pill like that for a while. And then when that thing happened with Big Sash, I got back into it. I started pulling stuff out the closet. And then I talked with 6'8", his partner. 6'8" knew a lot about building and stuff.
Yes.
And he told me, I showed him what I had. And he said, no, these transformers you got, this is all TNT style. You ain't going to get the watts they're getting right now. So he told me about getting the new transformers that they had, which is, I think the other one was 43 material. And I think the all these Dave made and all that is the ferret material 61. That material you'll get more watts out of because it doesn't eat up as much of the thing. So I learned a lot from 68 with that. And he showed me how to do some stuff. And I ended up building me a 32 pill.
Wow.
So
shout out to 68, man. I haven't heard that name in a while, man.
It helped me a lot at the beginning of that, man. There was a technician shop in Queens I used to go to all the time, and he taught me a lot because I used to blow my box all the time. So he always would fix it, but he was teaching me as it went along. So that's how I ended up building a bigger box. But 68 is the one that kind of showed me when I had the seat sink that I could build a 32 pill because he said only the pills had to be on the heat sink. I was under that old TNT thing. You remember the whole board was on the heat sink.
Yeah.
Said, no, all you need is the pills on the heat sink. He said you could,
the traces and everything.
Pills up here. So I was like, oh shit. So I was looking at it with it, built the 32 pill, talked on that for a while, and then I realized somebody showed me how a three-way combiner worked, and I think it might have been 68 that told me about it. And that's when I put another string of pills in there and made my 48 pill. Because 48 pill was my little claim to fame. You know, because I'm going back to Pitbull, and all this is going into why I did what I did at the break. Because I got with him, and he showed me a spot he talked on about his job. And it's a fishing pier in Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. The famous pier.
You go down there, that's like 50 dB gain.
Yeah.
That's the only way to explain it is 50 dB gain. Whatever you bring is going to multiply it. You go down there with a 2 pill, guess what? They might think you're talking on a 16 pill.
Wow.
You put it on an 8 pill. Oh, what the hell? They got a 40. So I went
down
down
there on a
48 pill that used to dead key 10,000 and talk back to about 7 or 6. Because people say, man, this thing swings back too much. It ain't supposed to swing back that much on a bird. But man, I sat out there and ran a talk show. But this is now we're talking the maybe 2000. Okay. In 2000, there wasn't as many big watt stations around. You know, you had Earplugger and 187 in New Jersey.
The rest in peace.
Drive in New Jersey, but he was over in New Jersey, and that
spot, he wasn't that big back then. Back in the early 2000s,
he had 2-3,000s back then.
Yeah.
He had 2-3,000s back then.
You had that crazy Earplugger 187. You had that crazy 187.
Yeah, 187. That was a big station, and Earplugger. So when I had the 48 pill, I started running with those guys. As a matter of fact, that's when I started getting good with Clarence Carter. Because he used to hear me out there every day, but he didn't want to talk to me. He said he don't talk to me.
Cracks in the room. Cracks in the room.
Said, look, what you want to know? You want to know about me? I got 5 kids. I do this. I do that. And I start talking to him in his ears. So after that, he started getting along with me because he realized I didn't have to be a 1-1-1 person. That 48 pill, I could sit and talk on it because I needed it because I can't help but be long with it. Yeah. So, you know, that's how that worked out. So after when I was doing that, I ended up going every day and hosting a talk show because there used to be Mr. Audio out west and a couple other people used to hold talk shows. They used to be out there and say they were doing their talk show. Yeah. So I started doing my talk show talking about this, the Skyhawk talk show brought to you by Skyhawk. Antenna system by Skyhawk. Box built by Skyhawk, starring Skyhawk. Da, 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 da. I used the theme song from Lamb Chop.
Oh my God.
It used to be a song like "This is the song that never ends." It goes on and on, my friend, and started singing it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, and I continue singing it forever just because this is the song, and it just repeats. So I used to go out there and say, "This is the mall that doesn't," and I used to key up and not unkey and sing 3 verses of that song. Everybody used to say, "His ass gonna blow up," and I used to be looking at the meters, hoping I didn't blow up because I didn't even have a bird then. I had a big dozy. I used to be looking at, watching that thing, hoping that it didn't blow up, man. And I had so much fun doing that every day. People was like, "What are you doing? You out there all day?" But nevertheless, blowing pills and all of that. Big Jim, God rest him. He found out that he was sick and he was dying, and he said he would sell me his AC box. Matter of fact, he sold me his 3,000 for $1,500.
Wow.
He sold me his 3,000 for $1,500. Me and Pitbull went over there and picked it up, and that a lot stronger than because that damn thing had a 1 amp Peter dial in the case with the whole box.
It was self-contained, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so I got that and hooked it up, and I couldn't get it working 100%. I found out one thing that I wasn't using fat enough wires because I had 5 Leastervilles on my truck. Okay. I had 4 AC Leastervilles running and to the back and then switching them to DC. So I had those hooked up on the truck just to run the 48 pill. So what I end up doing when I hooked one of them to the AC box, it wasn't coming up enough. I found out my wires weren't fat enough because I was using 6 gauge. And I was using 6 gauge because it was free from the job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Look,
but you eventually had to upgrade.
I have money.
Yeah.
Huh?
But you eventually had to upgrade when you see me.
Yeah, I had to upgrade because I mean my whole thing was the reason I built is because I didn't have money. And as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So it was a lot cheaper to start figuring things out and doing it yourself than going and buying stuff. And pretty much that was my thing. Everything I had was secondhand, all the way down the line. I can't think of one piece of equipment that I ever bought new, brand new. Everything that I have, somebody else had it before me. Whether ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Well, I picked it after. So when I bought that for Big Jim, and we finally got it hooked up right, we had to go up to Muddy Water because Pitbull was real tight with Muddy Water. Went up to Mud, and Mud was sick then because we had long conversations like when I went up there, and Mud started showing me what was going on with the AC because he already knew I knew my electronics, understood capacitance, resistance, and all of that stuff because I did do a year at TCI College in New York. 1 year, I think in 1988, I went there for a semester, for a whole year, figuring I was going to get into electronic trade because I was a machinist by trade. I worked in machine shops and tool and dies. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to do something different. And I went the year, but then when I found out the job that they was training me for, money they was going to make, I'm like, I can make that and more with the training I already had. So I never went down that line. I just, but I didn't mind learning that because it was something I wanted to know. I wanted to know more about my radio stuff anyway. So that worked out. But when I got with Mud, he saw I knew a little something. So he found it easy to teach me. And Mud taught me how to bench tune the box. He told me how to tune the box. And I looked around. People, they joked about me one time, Cut Off Man and them, because even Bad Attitude told me him and Bo Jackson, they said, God rest Bo Jackson, said, people be throwing tank coils on the floor and hoping that they get more watts. So we be in Marco Polo. I had a bunch of tank coils around. I did a polo where I threw about maybe 7 tank coils on the floor, and they were going tink, kling, 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 kling. And I was like, come on, watts! Like if I was rolling dice. They were messing with me about my AC box because everything I built myself. But I'm jumping all over the place. But nevertheless, when I got with Mud showed me what to do. He taught me a lot. And I got that AC box going. So I talked on the 1-3000 for a while. But at that time, you had Brown Shoes with 2 3000s, Pitbull with 2 3000s. You had Beetlejuice had 2 3000s. 144 was running 2 3000s. Now 146 was just on his 1 3000, but he wasn't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? So, we all was going at each other. So it ended up that I bought a 2 3000 box from 704 in Philly. So he had a box, but he wasn't getting it to run right. I ended up getting it from, the problem was one of the transformers weren't right. And, there was some other stuff like So I ended up taking that box and rebuilding it. You know, I put in a vacuum relay. You
Is
know,
that what you is that what you're currently running now? Is that what you got now?
that same shell of a box.
Okay.
Because
But
it has
everything else is
upgraded 2
better.
times since then. You know, first I got it, I had to change the both vacuum tuners and the input tuners, you know, and I put in a vacuum relay, you know, changed the coax and stuff, but we still had the box. So with that, I ran the 2.3s, and when I had the 2.3s, they were running good. I was driving them with a 16 pill that I made. Because first I had a 12 pill that I built that I used to run the 48 pill with. End up I didn't have enough drive, so I built a 16 pill to run it with, and it ran really good with the 16 pill. But it took off when I bought 3 500Z box from 900 up in the Bronx.
Dynamite Kid's dad.
Yes, Dynamite Kid's dad. He sold me his 3 500Z box for $1,500.
Wow.
So, you know.
Man.
That's why I go crazy.
You be getting them damn deals. You be getting them deals.
I go crazy on the prices of boxes right now because I know what I paid for stuff. You know, when I bought the 2-3,000s from what's the name, I paid $2,500.
Man, you know, right now I gotta stop you right there. You say you bought 2-3,000s for $2,500. Do you know what they're running for the average right now for 2 brand new 3CX 3000s?
What's that?
Between $12,000 and $14,000.
Wow.
Between $12,000 and $14,000 for 2 3CX 3000. That's from a builder down here in Florida. I don't say no names,
wow.
But yeah. So
yeah, that's why like I'm gonna have to build because I can't afford to buy. You know what I'm saying?
And if you got something, you better take care of it because the tubes are going outrageously high. The prices are crazy right now. Yeah. So I seen on Facebook real quick. I seen Camaway, and not to cut you off, just so for the guys that are listening, I seen Camaway and I seen Comandante put a 10,000, 2 10,000s. All right, Camaway put one for $10,000, which is a hell of a deal, transformer and everything, keying. And Comandante got one for 9,500. They're both pretty boxes, so yeah, go check them out on Facebook if you guys are interested. Because man, for right now, for 2 3CX 3000 to pay 12 and 14,000, I'd rather go with something that. But make sure hey, watch it key and give the 10 grand and you get a good deal. It's a good it's a good deal for that. But and even then, the backup just to wait. Just somebody posted you pay $12,000 to $14,000 and you're gonna wait 8-9 months to a year to get the box. You know, it's not like they're just popping them off. But yeah, man. So that getting back to the box that you got. So you got pretty much I'm gonna get back to what you said. You bought those 3 500s for $2,500. You said
no. I bought the 2 3,000 for $2,500. That was from 704 in Philly. Wow. So it really took off once I got the 3 500Z box from 900. And when I talked on that thing, I could put that 25,000 watt slug to sleep. So that was good. So, you know, we finally had redid the tank coil because I had to change the tank coil. And the first one I had a friend of mine who I go to a lot of technical advice from. He made me a tank coil, but he's more tech than he is practical. So he made me a tank coil. We had it in there, me and Pitbull tune up, and we couldn't get the watts out of it. And I said, you know what? I think I could make one. And I made one myself. We put that one in there. Wham, the watts went over. You know, so that was good, you know, but I never did the competitions because
real quick. I want to back you up 1 second. Yeah. So what do you talk about technical and practical? Okay, because it's like sort of like saying, you know, somebody's book smart and somebody's street smart. Is that what you're saying? So which way do you think is a more efficient way to go? The more practical way in terms of experience, or the more technical way to go, you know, get the right micro henries on the tank coil, or go by just measuring? How would you describe that?
Well, I mean, hopefully you got a reference so that you can use your practical off of the textbook. Like this guy, he's more ham. He's a ham radio operator. Okay. He talks on CB, but just if he's on CB, he's on a CB radio with like 95% modulation and 4 watts.
I got you.
That's him.
He keeps the right legal limit right there.
Right the legal limit. That's him. But he loves the fact. Like I go and tell him, come on outside. And he worked at the job with me, and he come out and he looked, and when he saw what the bird slug was doing, he's like, "Oh man, I can't believe it could do that." You know, because that tube is only rated at, you know, it's a 3,000 watt tube. It's rated at 3,000.
And you get triple the amount.
Huh?
And you're doing the triple the amount of what
So he used to bug out on that. So he used to love helping me. Like I even called him recently just to crunch some numbers on the power supply. And as soon as I start talking, he's doing the math. Oh, this, that, you need this many KD. And I'm like, okay, you know, like I knew. And he said, oh, I don't remember this stuff. You know, it's a while since I did it, but he's just singing numbers. So I love calling him and telling him something. And every upgrade I do, I always send him a picture or let him know, look, this is what I did last. And he's like, because he just bought, like we retired maybe a little bit before I did from the job. And he bought like 5 acres in New Jersey. And he has yet to put up an antenna. Not even a ham radio antenna. And I'm like, yo, the band is wide open. You know, you got 5 acres. There's 2 houses. His daughter and their family and him and his wife put an antenna up, you know, but, you know, I guess to keep the peace too, you know, sometimes it's to keep the peace. So
absolutely. So now currently, where are you at in terms of how did you make that move going? What made you move from New York going down to the Carolinas and how did you set up your station down there?
Okay. I have family, you know, some of my daughters moved down here, so I was checking out the area. But what kind of really got me down here is, oh man, Big Ike Turner.
Okay.
At a break in, I think it was in Washington, D.C. I'm trying to remember what break it was. I'm on dialysis, just like you are and Pitbull is, you know. So I was on dialysis for 7 years. I had been listed all along this whole time I was on dialysis, right? I started dialysis in 2012. So I was on dialysis. I had been listed from before I even started dialysis, I was listed in New York. But with my blood type, the list was long. When I first started, they told me 5 to 7 years. And then a few years later, it jumped again. So now there was, you know, just more and more time and it still wasn't happening. So then I started multiple listing myself. So I listed myself in Philadelphia at Einstein. And I also, when I talked to Big Ike Turner, he told me that he was the same blood type as me and that he got his kidney down in the Carolinas. And he said shortly after he listed, he got called for a kidney. Oh, wow. So I had my daughter look up hospitals in her area so that this way, because you have to have some place to recover and so forth. Yeah. And I listed at Duke and maybe I got listed at Duke. I went to 3 hospitals I sent paperwork down to. Duke got back to me and I went for an interview with them in late July. Late July, I went for an interview with them. You know, they have you go, you had to bring 2 caretakers with you. And, you know, they do the whole blood workup, take all these like 20 something tubes of blood from you. And, you know, and they give you the whole spew on what's involved. They check to see if you have the finances to pay for the medicines because
it's for life. It's for life.
Yeah, those medicines are expensive, right? So they make sure that your whole deal that you know, you'll be able to go with it. And so it ended up, I met their criteria. By August, maybe the second week in August, they told me I was listed maybe about a week later or 2 weeks later. And then shortly thereafter, they started calling me with, oh, look, we might have a kidney for you. You're on standby. You know, we really don't think it's going to come to you, but we're just calling you anyway, just in case to let you
be ready. Yeah, be ready.
And I started getting those calls a little more regularly. Now, I never got anything from Einstein, but I did get something from Mount Sinai one time where they had something for me, but they said it was high risk, meaning that they checked, they don't see anything, but this person had been incarcerated within the last whatever time, and there could be a chance that there's something there that they didn't see. So I didn't go with that because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. So, I'm in that philosophy. You know, that's why everything I talk on, I try to beef it up enough so that this way I don't have to fall back and wish that I had, you know, did what I was supposed to do. But long story cut just a little bit shorter. They called me in November of 2019.
Okay.
They called me in the morning. I was at dialysis. They said, hey, we have a kidney that looked like it might be coming to you, but don't do nothing yet. Do your regular thing. I said, well, I'm going to dialysis. They said, go to dialysis and we'll contact you later. I got home from dialysis. They called me up and said, hey, this kidney is for you. How soon can you get here? So I called my daughters and the youngest, she made arrangements, booked us 2 flights, and we flew out that night and we were in Durham, Raleigh-Durham that night by 11 o'clock. Got to the hospital like 11:30 or something like that. And 8 o'clock in the morning, they gave me a kidney.
Wow.
So being down there, you know, recovering and so forth, you know, being down there for a while, I said, you know what, going back and forth to New York and then coming back, I want to be near the hospital that did this. Not to mention,
Absolutely.
there, down here, I could afford to purchase something. In New York,
Yeah,
you know,
the cost of living is way different
yeah,
for
the cost
sure.
of living and just the real estate. The real estate is too high. Because where I lived in New York, I had a 5 element on a brownstone with brownstones connected on both sides.
Wow.
So that's
You
pretty much why I
you
had
tearing
to joke
everybody
on.
up.
Yeah, I had a joke on because of the fact that it wasn't a big antenna.
Okay.
So it swept over the house on a neighbor that got along with me real good. And the neighbor that didn't get along with my brother, and it was his house, it didn't go over her house. Because I know if it had went over her house, she would have
There'll
said
be some
something.
problems. It'll be some
She would
issues.
have said something. So it worked out good. But nevertheless, I end up deciding I found me a place down here, where I had a little bit of room. And my whole key was to be able to set up a station. That's always been a dream of mine. Like I love talking in the Mobile, but I wanted to be able to have a base station, someplace that I could sit back. I was enjoying that in New York too, but the only thing was my brother would always tell me I'm coming through his computer. Oh, you're coming through the computer. And then even when I wanted to put chokes and stuff on it, you're like, I don't want that. So
They're scared to put the chokes on.
God bless the child that has his own. I end up making the move to some place where I could hook my stuff up and do what I got to do. Yeah. So that's what presently brought me to where I am now, and also brought me into that antenna situation that everybody is talking about with DBI, because I'm a firm believer in having what you want in advance to do what you want to do. So as soon as I moved down, I went and bought me a rotor. I started making arrangements to get a tower, even though I didn't have a hole in the ground yet. And then I thought over the years, hey, who had good antenna that's making it besides me just getting one of the regular manufactured antennas? And I've heard some people talk on DBI's antenna. So I contacted him and made arrangements to buy an antenna from him. So he was first going to sell me a 60-foot antenna, but he wanted like $2,300. And I was like, nah, you know what? I don't want to go in that deep. So he said he was going to sell me a 40 on 7, and he wanted $1,400. And this was right before Thanksgiving.
I'm a little curious, and the people that are listening are also curious. What does that entail for that purchase price? Is it the actual materials? Is it just
that was going to be the complete antenna with the direct, a direct feed antenna
on materials,
all the materials,
everything
completely built. And the only thing I was going to have to pay after that was the shipping.
Okay.
He was going to ship it to this freight company, and I was going to have to pay the shipping.
Okay.
But he was going to completely build the antenna, tune it out. He said he would just have to know what coax length I was going to use so he could have it pre-tuned for me, and it wouldn't really have to be any adjustments after that. So that was my thing. You know what? I got some place to hook this up. I'm going to have this big antenna because I like the fact that the Joe Guns had fat elements. They got those 1-inch elements. Yeah. I've seen the Makos, and I didn't like the skinny elements on the Mako. So that was kind of the thing that made me say, yo, I'm going to go with this. So nevertheless, send the guy the money, which the antenna should have been made for me somewhere by January, something like that. Because he was like, oh, yeah, get it to me now because, I can get the materials now. I don't have nothing going on. This way I'll have your stuff built, before Christmas and stuff. And it was before Thanksgiving that I sent him the money. So he was going to have this thing built, and he, gave me the assurances that was going to happen. Then they kept different stories. Oh, I saw where they got hit with cold up there in the lakes and stuff like that. So they had those cold spells and the ice storm. All right, I give you that. It's a big antenna. Maybe you do got to build it outside. So, I went with the stories. And of course, it got into the springtime. Now there's a different story. And then he said, oh, I got to build this other stuff. And I'm like, hold it. You didn't tell me you had to build other antennas when you said you was going to build my antenna. You didn't have nothing going on. So his stories kept changing and evolving. And, it just got to the point where finally I knew I had my 5-element up in New York. I brought that down. I set that up, got my tower up early on this year. And, finally got up all the way thanks to Wagon Wheel down here in the Carolinas. He climbed the tower because I had it up on 20 feet. This guy, Mercy Killer, one of my locals over here, he moved a little farther now, but he came over. He helps me with a lot of stuff that I got to do around the house and with the antenna stuff. And me and him took 2 pieces of tower and pushed that thing up because I also have a swing tower. I had a big swing plate made because that was another thing I delayed. I had a heavy duty swing plate made because people told me the ones that you buy, sometimes they can crack on you. So I talked to Bumblebee down here, and he told me of a place, and we went to a steel place. and they welded me a special thing for the tower, so that I had a big giant steel swing plate, with a big hinge on it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I could lock it and bolt it down. So I had that.
So you never wound up getting the antenna.
Never got an antenna from him, and it got to the point where he wasn't answering. Now, when I finally reached out and started blowing it up, and I told like Painkiller, I told Pitbull, and Small Drive and guys like that, then all of a sudden he was getting back to me. Oh, I'm just waiting for the direct feed, and I'm going to get it to you. And I'm like, well, just send me my money. No, I got it done. Just got to get these things. He went with that for a couple of weeks. Then he went ghost. I don't hear nothing from him. Every now and then I'll send him a text. Look, just send me back my money. You know what I'm saying? Just send me back my money. And I'm not hearing nothing from him. So, I went with the $1,400. I just wanted to clear it up. It was $1,400, not $6,000. $6,000. We're gonna have to get some blood samples and some DNA. You know what I'm saying? I don't got $1,400 to throw away, but you kind of, I was a little thirsty when I came down. You know what I'm saying? I finally had a place where I could hook up a base station. So I
wanted to talk.
I started buying stuff that I needed, and this was one of the pieces to the puzzle. So I thought I was going to the right place. So I wasn't delaying on it. I was just like, let me just lay this out, so when it comes, I have what I need. But that didn't.
When Small Drive, when we had him on the show, and he kind of elaborated on the story.
Yeah.
When he said 6,000, I was like,
oh man, what the heck, yo? Why you say 6,000?
I was like, what damn antenna was he building you, man? 100
There's
footer?
Stupid, and then there's retarded. I agree, I was stupid, but I was not retarded. You know what I'm saying? I was stupid, but I was not retarded. So, nevertheless, what I did finally do just 2 weeks ago, going on 3 weeks, I bought me a 7-element from Mako. And I set up that 7-element, and man,
let's put it up there.
That thing is working.
They're good. There's a lot of guys down here in Florida that swear by them.
Yes. And I will be one of those to testify behind that.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say right now, my girlfriend laughing at me right now because she knows since I had that antenna up, I'm like a junkie mainlining. I just can't stop. She's scared she's gonna see me by the radio one day. OD. I ain't stopped, man. I ain't stopped.
She listening? Is she listening? She's right there listening.
Yeah.
This hobby is like crack, man. You start off, you started with a 2-pill. Next thing you know, you got 220,000. It's like, what do you do with your money? Oh, I gotta save it for some CB stuff. Everybody that's heavy into CB know that it is an addiction. But like, I've been with my wife almost 30 years. I've been talking a little bit 35 years. I know she's happy that I have this hobby, because if you get into any type of hobby, whether it be race cars, whether it be fishing, whether it's an expensive hobby. Whatever you want to do, if you want to do it right, it's going to be expensive. The advantage of having a base station and spending the money is that I'm home. You know what I'm saying? Look, baby, I'm home. Even though I'm spending the money, but I'm in the next room right there talking. I ain't on the streets, and you know exactly where I'm at. But it is an addicting thing. I got out of it, I think, 2010 to 2012. Got into motorcycles for a little bit. But once you got that RF in your blood, man, I put the radio on in my truck one day and heard them guys, having a ball. I was like, man, I got rid of the motorcycle. Then I got me a little 3-element, got me a little 8-pill on the base station, and it keeps going. So tell her she gonna have to hold on, put a seatbelt on, because you go for a ride. But so getting back to the DBI, there's some guys that are saying BBI in the comments. It wasn't BBI, it was DBI. No,
it's DBI up in Illinois.
DBI up in Illinois. I just want to clarify, because a couple of guys are commenting about BBI.
Not
DBI. So did you ever? What was the bottom line, and whatever finalized with that? You never got a hold of him anymore?
I never got a hold of him anymore. He hasn't done anything. If you tight, guess what? Send me my money back in installments.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might have got my money one shot, but you could give it back in installments.
Yeah.
Just give me back my $1,400. It's not your money. It's
and listen,
give me back my money.
And to be fair, I'm not knocking you. I'm not saying nothing, but he's not here to defend himself. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not. Yeah. I would like to give the opportunity, if anybody ever hears from him,
I would love that somebody would talk to him so he can say what's what. You know what I'm saying? So,
absolutely. It's like you have a family member going missing for a year or two, and you don't know, something bad happened, but you just want to finalize it. You want to at least get the body, you know what I'm saying, and find out what happened. I kind of feel where you're coming from. So you just want to get it finalized. So anybody that got, get a hold of DBI. Y'all talk to him. Let's get this straightened out if we could, and get these guys together and square it out, because it could be just a misunderstanding and communication. We give the benefit of the doubt.
I did that long enough. I'm not giving the benefit of doubt anymore. You understand?
I got you.
I did that for like, what's this, 23? I did it from 20, 21, 22, 23 years almost.
It's long enough.
I'm not giving no one benefit of doubt. For whatever reason, you shafted me for money, just give it back. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
Whatever. Maybe you had a hard time and you had to do some shit like that.
Yeah.
Give it back.
Yeah.
You should be on your feet by now. Enough time that you borrowed my money. Now pay it back.
At least communicate with you. At least to communicate with you and get it right. Yeah, we'll give them opportunity. We'll go with that route. So now you got a 7-element. You're down in the Carolinas.
Yeah.
You left the New York
500 Zs.
That's what you want now?
Yeah, and matter of fact, I bought those 400 500 Zs from 704 in Philly for $1,500.
Man, you just be getting them deals, man.
Pitbull went with me when we went to pick it up, and I tell you, I almost didn't buy the box. Controller was there, so they showed me the box. They showed me on the bird. They had it doing like 5,000 watts. They said, "Look, boom, you do 5,000." Oh, damn! I was like, okay. So now they take it apart for me to carry. I said, hold it. Don't we got to discharge the box? Because he disconnected it, and he was like, "Oh, you want me to discharge?" I said, "Yeah." So they took the cover off the transformer because it doesn't have a bleeder in it. I still got to get one made. I talked to Ed in the shed. He said he was going to show me how to make the bleeder so I can hook it up. So I'll tell him to make me one so I can put it in there. But so then controller, when 704 went to discharge, also the controller did like this. I didn't know what he was doing. When he hit that shit so pow! I was like, oh no. I don't want this shit. What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying?
It scared you.
I ain't never seen nothing like that, man. But I got the box and I took it home, and it was magic, man. It worked great in the house. I had fun. I used to fight with God Rest Gigolo. Me and him, we both had Joe guns. He had a 4. I had a 4. He used to start.
I thought Gigolo used to park in that parking lot up there over there.
No. Gigolo had a base station in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Gigolo had a base station in Brooklyn, the Ghetto Superstar. And me and him used to fight every day of the week for hours at a time. And I had a circuit breaker. It was a 20 amp circuit breaker. And with that 500 Zs, it used to trip the breaker because Gigolo used to be long with it. So he'd be Gigolo. And I'd be Skyhawk, and more Skyhawk, and more. And then the breaker would go. So I had to go run in the kitchen, hit the breaker, and come back before the person was finished rolling their 5 so I could key again. Man, it was
be ready to go for the next round.
Best of times. And I tell you, so Gigolo started beating me real bad. So what I did is I ordered me a 5-element Joe gun. I just took the 4-element down, left it on the roof, put the elements in the thing because the boom was real long on the 4-element. The 5-element came with 2 pieces that you put together in the middle. And I got me a 5-element Joe gun and put that up and went back to fighting him. Wow. So now I start having a little advantage. It took a while before they realized that I had a 5. And Pitbull was even sitting there. I go back to Pitbull because that's my boy all along. He's in my backyard on a barbecue one day. And all of a sudden he looked up. He's like, because the second time I put up an antenna, I did it with no CBers. Because the first time I did it, I had CBers help me. Everybody had a bright idea. As a matter of fact, my stuff is hooked up to a vent pipe, and Pitbull testified to this. We had this guy 5'4" helping us, and we're holding the pipe over the vent pipe so we could bring the antenna down. And I had one of them telescopic pipes. So the top piece, we're holding it, and I'm like, hold on to this. And he's like, oh, let me see that. And it had a little ring on the top that held it in place. He let go of the damn pipe. That's just
right on his hand.
It went right through the pop, ring popped off, and the fucking pipe went down in the vent pipe. People thought I was gonna throw the guy off the fucking roof.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
After that, no more CBs because everybody got a bright idea. So when I did that antenna the next time, I had my son and 2 of my cousins. A couple came in from Jersey, another one from Brooklyn, and my son and my boy from down the street, and we put that antenna back up. So when Pitbull looked up there, he's like, I thought you had a 4-element. No, I got a 5 up there. What the hell you did that? Don't worry, I did it.
You couldn't be slick. You couldn't be slick. But
I kept the slick, but it was
back to Gigolo, I remember he had gotten a box made by Koki, and he passed right before he even got the box because he had.
No. He got that box. He was running it for a while.
Box?
Yeah, he was running for a while because that box right now Preacher Man, one of the Super Transmitter, Baby Shark. He got that box.
The yellow box, was it yellow? It was yellow, right?
I don't remember the color, but he got the box from Gigolo's old box.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I did not know that.
That's why I for sentimental value, I like fighting Preacher
Man. bring back the old memories. I got you.
Yeah. Me and Preacher Man, we go at it pretty good, man. You know, there's a lot of animosity with everybody, but me and Preacher Man one and the same. We fight. And on Marco Polo, they always talking about Baby Shark, and they showing pictures of sharks eating bird. So one day I beat him, and then I got one of the pictures on the internet of a bird eating a fish. You know, I played that video right away. So we
turned it right back around.
We have a lot of fun, man, and a lot of fun. You know, it's a lot of this and that goes on, but we have a lot of fun in the Marco Polo.
Yeah, but when you get into Marco Polo, when you get into the Pal Talk and stuff like that, it is a lot of competitive stuff, but there's a fine line of being competitive and being, having a personal agenda against somebody. Yeah. When I see you guys up in Marco Polo, because somebody gonna be mad at Marco Polo that you didn't tell me you were gonna be on the show. You know that. Somebody gonna be mad like, hey, you didn't say nothing to me that you was gonna be on the show. But getting back, okay, so we went to where you started off as a young fella, putting wires together, went to school in high school, and you went build your own 48 pill. Now you went and bought, you got some hell of a deals on some Z2s, on 2 3000s. So you're currently on 4 500Zs right now
in the house,
and a 7 element in the house. Where do you see yourself going in the next couple of years? Because we're in the upload of this cycle. We're on the upswing on this. The cycle
like in the Mobile, I have a 15,000 in the Mobile.
Now, okay, that's what I want to touch
3,000 that I built and a 15,000 that I built, which was the original 3,000 box.
Okay,
because
so you converted to a 15,000
box. I was out there fighting, and afterwards, one time I blew a tube. So when I blew a tube, I was going to buy another one, and then I heard 144 was going to buy a 10,000 from Ghost Rider. So now these are one of the people that I fight with. Like this fight, Beetlejuice, 144, myself, Brown Shoes, Pitbull. This was like every day fighting. We get out there, and everybody in New York's listening to hear. Not to mention, we're still fighting with Double Nickel. We're fighting with Pimp. We're fighting with all the Northeast corner people. But that city fight, that was us right there. Yeah. So when I heard 144 was going to get a 10,000, because he used to have 2 3s, and I used to beat his 2 3s. When I heard he was going to get a 10,000, I told Pitbull, I'm going to build me a 10,000. So what he did is he let me hold his muddy water box. I put my tubes in his box and ran that so I could go out and talk. Meanwhile, I was building a 10,000.
Wow.
So before Ghost Rider could get him his 10,000,
he was already up ahead.
He already built the 10,000. So when he came out with his 10,000 and called me out,
he was already ready to go.
What the fuck? He sat the dog next to me, and I cut him dead off. So,
gotta get them.
But I never ran. Even when I was running my 2 3s, I ran my 2 3s on 3 power supplies.
That's 144 calling you.
When I ran my 2 3s, I ran it on 3 power supplies. When I ran my 3,000, I ran it on 2 power supplies. When I got my 15, I ran it on 4 power supplies. Oof. Because I'm not in key down. I'm a skip talker.
Yeah.
I need my stuff to run the best it can, as cool as possible. So therefore, I'm not driving these alternators crazy. I'm not putting a hit on them. I can run them with their regular 14 volts going into them and let them all produce something on those 1 amp transformers and give me some steady watts so I can stay out there and be long-winded while I'm talking skip.
So let me ask you a question. Yeah. You currently have a 4 tube at the house, 4 500Zs that you talk on,
in the house.
And you got a Mobile with a 15,000 and 3,000 driver.
Yes.
Currently out of the Mobile.
Yeah. That truck is talking. I just don't go out to it.
So have you ever, a lot of these guys
for regular travel, and that's it.
Yeah. Now, have you ever see a lot of guys talking about they in the Mobile, but they hook up to beams? Are you going to be one of them guys that are going to back up to the beam?
No, I ain't trying to do that.
Why not?
One, it's a pain in the ass to take the coax outside.
Okay.
That means you got to take your coax from where you got it run into the house and pull it outside. So guys that do that, they do it all the time. Yeah, They're not going back and forth. You understand? So if they do that, they probably do it all the time.
Have it ever itched you like? Has it ever give you the itch like, man, if I put If I put this thing in line, man, them boys be their ass is grass.
I thought about it, but then I only have 217 coax on my antenna. So what's going to happen? Somebody's going to roll a 5, and I'm going to say, instead of running the 3,000, let me turn on the 15,000. And then I'm going to watch this line of smoke going up to my antenna when I put 30,000 out there on that fucking 217. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to happen. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I got to get some electric done. That's why I called my friend the other day to find out exactly what size transformer I need to buy. I know you showed me your what's the name? The Popeg.
Yeah.
I don't have room for a Popeg. You know, I don't have room for a Popeg. So, you know,
be quiet.
So I'm looking to you know, to buy something, and you know, they're a couple of weeks out and they're real pricey, you know. So I know when you order it, you know, you don't have to put money down to order it. You can just order it and you pay when you get it. But I'm not one of those people that I don't want when all of a sudden it's ready, I don't have the money. So I haven't ordered anything yet because I realize what I'm going to have to do is either just buy the transformer and have somebody build me the power supply, or buy the transformer and build the power supply myself. That's why you saw me sitting down there talking so much with 55 the other day.
Yeah,
he was schooling me on what I needed to build my power supply.
Shout out to Terry. Shout out to 55.
Yeah, he's been very helpful, especially my transition from taking my box and getting the 15,000 going. He helped me build a nice bias circuit for it, and I was able to get it out there, you know, and fight with them boys. Because, you know, the big talk when I came down to the Carolinas was, oh, you're not going to talk down in the Carolinas like you did up in New York.
Yeah.
So before I even came down there was a big ass target on my back.
They were waiting on you.
They were waiting on me. But when I came down here, I held my own. I had a day that I was able to put them all, you know, on that little plaque on the wall with the heads. You know, I'm not saying that they ain't got my head on a plaque in their rooms, but I was able to put them all on a plaque before they were able to get me. And that was the main thing. Let me come down and draw first blood. So I came down, I drew first blood on, you know, them out here. And then I had a couple of days where I had some good vertical conditions, and I started keying on base stations in the Carolinas, you know, where base stations were out there and I was just holding it down.
Yeah.
So when I was doing that, you know, then everybody's like, oh shit, okay, this is the Skyhawk they're talking about. Yeah. You know, because you talked to me in New York and you just figure it was condition thing, but you know, you give a good seer the right thing, he'll know where to go and where to talk, you know. Because then the guys are like, oh, you went to the spot, you got this good. Whoa, ain't that what it's all about? You know, that's what it's all about. So even when I bought this place, the first thing I was looking at was, where am I going to put my antenna? It was my daughter that said,
that's some CB shit right there. You're looking at a house to buy, and the first thing you're looking at, you know, I got a couple guys, my boy Super Truck, I got to shout him out up there in New York. He's from Florida. He used to go by 222. He said, yeah, man, when I went up to New York, I found like 4 places that I want to move into. And the first thing I did was had a Magnum out of my pickup truck, on my truck, and I rode around. And if they didn't give me a good signal, I didn't want to buy the house. So now I bought this place. Again, when I went up there, everybody was giving me 30 dB. That's the place I bought. I was like,
I didn't do that one. I didn't do that one, but I did kind of look, because I didn't like it. I'm a little bit down from maybe about 2 miles up the road is about maybe 50 feet higher than me, you know? But where I'm at, you know, with the tower and everything, I'm about even with 2 miles down. After that, everything is lower, you know? So I'm like, okay, this is a decent spot. But when I was looking at the yard and I was like, I don't see where I can put it, because there was a lot of trees and stuff. And my daughter's like, no, Daddy, this is the house. You ain't going to have to do no repairs. You'll be able to move right in. You know, everything it was a modern kitchen and stuff like that. So she kind of sold me. It's like, you got room for the grandkids, your room. And you know, so it had enough amenities that I said, yeah, okay, this is it. And then when I first got here,
we about to talking to you. It's like, wow. You looking to see how you're going to cut the trees down. You didn't even hear anything else.
I came here wagon wheel. I called wagon wheel to the house before I even had any furniture and stuff. I was like, Wagon, come on over. I want you to tell me where I should put my antenna. And Wagon came over. He said, you know what? From a military standpoint, this is where you put your antenna. He said, you want to be talking. He said, Wagon Wheel said, yeah, from a military standpoint, if we was in a military thing, this is where the radio station would be set up. So he made me feel good right away. You know?
Shout out to Wagyu, man.
Yeah,
yeah, man. So let me ask you a question. We got to move it along. We got to get our next guest. I'm not trying to push you along.
No, but I think I covered everything I wanted to touch on.
That's what I want to get at. Now, usually we ask you like the final question, or I got actually 2 questions for you. Now, I know you got the 500Zs, you got your 15, your 3,000. Do you see yourself going in the new era of MOSFETs or LD MOS? Do you see yourself transitioning into that? Because the past guests that we've talked to, just seeing how the prices and all the stuff, the tube stuff is going. I know there's a couple operators that are already starting to go LD MOS. They're starting small. I haven't seen
a big question. Hold on a minute.
Oh, yeah. That's that moonshine right there. I know moonshine when I see it.
That's that North Carolina moonshine.
Oh man,
you can't live down here without one of these glass bottles.
Even
if you don't drink it, you gotta have one. I learned that we gotta have a mason jar.
Yeah. That's
I learned that right away. You gotta have you're not living in the country if you don't got a mason jar.
For sure. So do you see yourself making that transition? Because I know, like I said, I know a couple guys that are running smaller LD MOS boxes now, but I haven't seen anybody. I'm actually waiting to see somebody run a couple pallets to see how it goes. Because, I think that's where the future is going. Do you see yourself following that trend, or are you just going to stick with the tubes?
I don't know, because one, I'm wondering how pricey it's going to be. You understand? And then how easy is it going to be for me to build something like that?
Do you plan on building on your own?
Yeah, pretty much, because everybody seems to think that now for what they know, you're supposed to give everything you ever made to get it. And I actually got into this thing because it's a hobby. I do enjoy the building. My vision not as good anymore, where I don't mess with the transistors as much and certain things. Luckily with the AC, you don't have that small wiring that you have to do. And depending on how complicated the power supply is, I might have to just farm out, buy with the materials and farm out and cut the cost. I don't mind paying you for your skills, and you can put a price on your skills. And if I think it's reasonable, I'll pay it, because your hours that you work and it takes you a few hours and you're charging X amount of dollars an hour to make it, then I'll pay that. But
which is fair.
Yeah, but when you start taking a component that costs $4,000, but you're charging me $8,000 for it, and you're taking another component that costs $2,000, and you're charging me $4,000 for it,
it's a problem.
And all the components now double besides your skills, then it starts to get to something that I'm really not. I just can't afford it. If I had it, but there are things that I buy because I that's what I want, and I can't control it. But if it's something I can control it, I'll try to keep the price down.
That's fair enough.
As far as the MOSFETs, I haven't heard enough good reviews on it yet, meaning guys are like, it does this, but it doesn't do this. Like it has its wattage and you're there at that range. The good thing in the house, because I think the reason they don't work well in the car is because in key down, if your SWRs go up, they fail. That's what I heard. So therefore, they need to be in an ideal situation. But in a base station, you have that ideal situation. It's just like you. I have to wait for it to progress and see what's going on. I'm hoping that I'll be able to, build my base station, either take what I got or build something new, build me a power supply, take one of the boxes and put it inside for a while until I can build what I want in the house, but that's all just, progression. Right now, it's slowly been progressing, progressing, and I'm hoping to continue doing so. And
awesome.
At least the AC stuff, I understand it. This other thing is new stuff, so I guess I have to wait, see how.
That's awesome. That's a good answer. That's a fair enough answer. Now,
whatever I buy is going to be used.
Yeah, and you might get a hell of a deal off of it. You find somebody getting a good deal. You like that dude Stephen George up there in New Jersey, nasty. Every damn week he has a buy of the week or steal of the week, and he always got some stuff that I'm like, man, why I can't get them stuff, man? He always buys like bird meters for like $50 and stuff every week. Shout out to Stephen George and Nasty over there in New Jersey, man. He comes.
Okay.
He comes
yeah. I know Nasty in New Jersey. I usually talk to him when I'm coming up the turnpike. And
old Preacher Man up there in New York now. Every other day.
Preacher Man, he's really doing big numbers.
Yeah, he be having some stuff. I'm like, I can't even find it. You know what? Today, as a matter of fact, I was getting a flat tire fixed on my truck, on my big truck, and I was in the mechanic shop, and there was 4 Cobra 29s full of dust over there. And I was like, "Oh, you guys use the CB radios?" He's like, "Nah, man, we getting ready to throw it out." They're all dusty and crowded up. I put them in my truck, and I was happy as hell. I got them for free. I don't even know if they
before
work.
anything else, hey, I know you always be showing shirts on here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it. Stand up.
That's the Northeast Corner. No, I tilted this down so they can see it.
Oh, okay.
This is the Northeast Corner Heavyweights CB
Nice.
Club shirt. This
Nice.
is our new shirt. This design was done by Triple Nichols in Brooklyn.
Nice.
Shout out to Triple Nichols, one of my CB brothers from the Northeast Corner Heavyweights CB Club, because I'm still a member, you know.
That's
So
awesome.
that was a CB Club that we did that breakup in New York. You know, Pitbull, him and Gigolo and myself, we got together along with Big Sash and Triple Zeros and created a CB Club up there and Beetlejuice and, a slew of others. I don't want to keep on naming because I'm going to leave somebody out, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But, that's our CB Club. So at the break, a lot of us had the new shirt on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. He just
I
came.
want to touch on that. I mean, it was good to see you guys. Over at the cow pasture, I saw Pitbull, you, Small Driver, Sticky Fingers, No Pity, all the guys over there, Small Axe, and them guys had the barbecue grill going. Man, pig's feet everywhere.
Yeah.
Man, had a great time. Too bad the weather didn't really cooperate, but I did have a good time fellowship with you guys. Saw Pimp over there, Pennsylvania Pimp. It was a real good turnout. Now I want to talk a little bit about when you stood up over there in the ballroom and talk about what make an announcement right here. I got right now it's about 60 people watching and joining us in the show, and I want to kind of bring up our brother Pitbull and what you got up and said, and if you want to talk about that a little bit. And
that's the main reason. I enjoy the opportunity to archive my reason to be on the CB, and hopefully, like my grandkids, to be able to look this up and say, "Oh, snap, this is Grandpa, and this is what he was doing." Because I'm trying to get them into it, but they're not biting yet. But hopefully, I'll find something to get them going. But going back to what happened on Saturday night at the break, Saturday earlier that day, I was helping Pitbull get into the truck to go to the field. Because a lot of people had left already. That usually help him, and he told me, "Look, I'm going to need help getting into my Suburban." So I came down there, and I had somebody else. First, it was just me, him, and his wife trying to get him in the thing. And he had the stroke. He had a major stroke in 2020, right? And I have that listed on the GoFundMe page, trying to describe what happened, and he can elaborate more. But he had a major stroke that left him that he doesn't have movement on his left side, his left leg, and his left arm. So he doesn't have the power to be able to get himself into the Suburban. And myself, years ago, hey, I could have picked them up one hand. My thing used to be pick people up and turn them upside down. That used to be my thing years ago. And people will tell you that from the break. You mess with me, I used to always grab you by the waist, turn you upside down, hold you upside down until you realize that I could gravity drop you to the ground. But that was a galaxy long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Given present day, I don't got that strength anymore. So I tried to put him in the van and I couldn't. So I had to go back and get 2 other people from in the lobby. I forget what this guy's name is. I know he's 31 years old and he's from Mississippi. He was in the lobby talking a lot, saying he's part of
the governor of Alabama.
Yes, the governor of Alabama.
Yeah.
We ain't got the governor of Alabama.
Shout out to the governor.
Yeah, shout out to the governor, man. Thanks for the help. So he came back, and another guy, and I don't know who the other person was. And thank goodness they helped, and we all had to lift and get Pitbull into that van. Now I saw 2 things at that point. I saw his frustration and his wife's, and it hit me because my frustration was there with them. You understand? It was something that I realized I'm helpless to help my friend. You understand? I have to get somebody else to help me help my friend. So after I went upstairs after that one, because I didn't stay at the field that long. I wasn't feeling 100% at the break. I had like a stomach something earlier in the week, and I ate some shit I shouldn't have ate, and it had me messed up. So I didn't totally recover. So I was there at the break, but I wasn't as good as I could have been. So I came back from the field. As soon as it started raining and stuff, I came back. I laid up and stuff. But as soon as I got back from the field, I called Small Driver, and I said, "Hey, Small Driver, I need you. You got to start a GoFundMe page. We got to start a GoFundMe page for Pitbull because I was trying to get him in the truck and I couldn't. And I said, maybe you can, we'll put it out there and things. So he called me later and he said, "Hey, Skyhawk, at the break later on tonight, you go up there and make an announcement that you're going to start a GoFundMe page." Because I told Small Driver, "Look, I want to start a GoFundMe page for Pitbull, and I'm going to put $500." I said, because he needs a minivan. He needs a wheelchair accessible minivan so that he can get around. Him and his wife can go do things without having to beg somebody else.
Yeah.
So they can just.
It's a tough position to be in.
You understand? So, and I'm not in a position financially to try to help like that. So when I said it to Small Driver, he told me, make an announcement at the break. So I didn't even know that he was coming there yet. Yeah. I went and I told Godfather, "Hey, Godfather, I don't know who's running the break, but I'd like to make an announcement. And could you find out if it's okay?" So he said, "Look, I'm going to check with the club. If they say it's okay, find out." So I didn't hear anything else from Godfather, but then Small Driver showed up and he said, "What happened?" I said, "I told Godfather." He said, "All right, don't worry. I'm going to take care of it." And he went and talked to the club, and then they brought Pitbull up and myself, and we went up. So when Pitbull went up and he spoke to everybody, explained to him how, CB is his thing. And I tell you, CB is his thing.
Oh, yeah.
Key Downs is his thing. He used to try to get me to go to Key Downs, man. He used to yell at me and all kinds of shit. And I said, "This ain't my thing. I don't like this." I tell him, because that pressure stuff like that for Key Downs, you got to be built for that. I'm not. I'm not built for the line. I've keyed a couple times, but I'm not built for the line. And my hat's off to every one of them that can do that. Get themselves ready. And just like what happened to Cutoff Man, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't do it, because sometimes shit just don't be right and you can't make it. And there's so many breaks that I have my shit ready. Even the last one that I think I tried to key up was in Washington, D.C.
Then something always happens.
All the belts on, everything. And as soon as we start tightening belts, big sashes over, we tightening up. I rev up and belts rip up. And I'm like,
never know.
Had my antennas on. I had Rip, God rest Rip, who built the antenna system. He built me an antenna system for the Washington, D.C. break. Put all my antennas on, had it all tuned out. Of course, I took it to the break, went there, and that was the last time I tried to key. My belts ripped up, and I still got the antenna sitting. I put it in the shed the other day. I still got a key down antenna system, and I'm hoping one day to get out there and do some keying. But I think what I'm going to do is put a 10,000 instead of the 15. But nevertheless, Small Driver brought Pitbull up there, and Pitbull spoke to everyone. And after that, I asked, could I use the mic? And I spoke up. And right then it just came out what I was feeling, that my helplessness for helping my friend. You never want to be helpless where you can't help your friend. This someone that's been in my life for years. He knows all my children, all my family. He's been to all my barbecues. I know all his family, all his grandkids and so forth, and his daughters and so on. So our family. Yes, his family.
And the stuff, and a lot of people don't know, we were all sitting together, and I actually looked around and the table, like I called it the dialysis table, because I seen you sitting there. I seen Small Driver sitting there, me, you, and Pitbull. And I thought to myself, being that I'm going through it, it's a tough journey. And I'm just recently been doing it for, 3 months. I know Pitbull been doing it for a long time. Small Driver's been doing it for a long time. You've been doing it.
I just started back a couple months now too.
Started back.
I had, not
it
working as well.
I'm in the process of doing getting on a transplant list, and on top of having to go through the dialysis, now Pitbull went through a stroke, which is like
and that's
something. It's like something on top of something that you're already struggling with, and to be able to knowing Pitbull, people that guys that know Pitbull and people that don't know him, he's a great competitor. We used to key down all the time when I used to key down, and a great competitor, loves the sport, loves the game. And now physically, he mentally he wants to do it, get back into it, but physically he can't. Physically it's going to take him a lot of rehab and a lot of stuff. And I know with friends like you guys, he's going to get back into it. I know he will. But right now we're just from the Big Hammer Show. If you guys see the GoFundMe page, man, and 50 cents, $1, whatever you guys can afford, just kind of help out. We could get this man a van that way, because his wife drove him all the way from New York down here. By herself, him and her by herself.
And that's what touched on me, that I knew the two of them were traveling by themselves. She drove them all the way down there, and she's at a point where she's with her husband, and she's got to rely on other people for them to do something. And it shouldn't be that way. In this day and age, with the technology that's out there, the equipment that's out there, all you need is the finances
Absolutely.
to get a vehicle that you could ride up on, you know, whether the lift gate or whatever it is, the little lift, that all of that
Absolutely.
stuff exists. And it
Yeah.
just takes a little, you know, a little means to
Yeah.
be able to get something like that. Yeah, it just
Absolutely.
takes a little means to be able to get something like that. And
Yeah.
I know that would change their lives dramatically.
Yes, sir.
Dramatically. He's got his little granddaughter over today. And she would be like, Papa, Papa. So I know he wants to get out there every day when his wife is taking her out to the park and stuff like that. And if they have that minivan, it's, come on, Papa. They go downstairs, they get in the van and travel wherever they got to go. And now he's a part of his whole life again. And I miss that for my brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we gotta, if you guys are watching and listening, show some love, man. 50 cents, $1, whatever you guys could help. Let's help our brother out. Let's get the CB community together and help our brother. But with that being said, bro, appreciate the love, appreciate everything. I gotta bring him out here, man. We talk about the man himself right here. BA, by the way, said that when he was driving home from the break, that Pitbull and his wife passed him going. There was running real hot and beeped the horn. But that being said, man, I want to bring my boy out here, the man of the hour, and show some love to my boy right here, Mr. Pitbull out of New York City. What's going on, Pitbull?
What's going on, bro? What's going on, Skyhawk? My brother.
Good to have you, man. We just your ears must have been ringing because we were talking about you.
Man.
We were talking good about you, though, man.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. I love this, man. I love this.
I know.
My wife drove 13 hours by herself.
Just to get you down here to break bread with
Get
the
me
fellas,
down here
man.
to something that I love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, between her, Skyhawk, and Sticky Fingers, my brother.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you on the show, man. We're gonna get into the GoFundMe stuff a little bit, but right now I wanna talk a little bit. You know, I know you for long when we both had hair and our hair was black. So I know you for a long time. I know you've been a great competitor. You know, you always love to key down. You had that hell of a spot over there that Skyhawk was talking about. You used to do your thing and stuff. How I want to get right into it, man. I mean, before we get into the GoFundMe stuff, how did you get started? I know I remember your pops and Sticky Fingers from back in the day, but what made you get into the CB and how did you come up into the Pitbull that we know today?
Well, I came into the CB in the late 70s, and my stepdaddy, Big Jim, you know, guys, you remember him, called himself Jim. He was the first one who gave me a Ghost Rider. I had a Ghost Rider in the early 80s. Wow. He gave me a 3-tuber. He said, "You want to talk? You got to get some watts."
Bottom line.
I got rid of that. I got rid of that 600 plus and got me a Ghost Rider. And man, I used to call Ghost Rider on the phone. He would tell me what to do. I would do it. Go out there and talk. Then I wanted more watts, but I was working a little pizza job. So Ghost Rider prices were a little too steep. So Muddy Water, I talked to Muddy Water. I got me a used Muddy Water for $3,000. $3,000, and that's where it started. And Muddy Water took me under his wing because he see I was determined to go out, because I used to always talk about Ghost Rider. So I got me Muddy Water. Guys used to sit there and listen to me talk Skip, and they'd be saying in Skip land, "What is he talking on?" And then I would say Muddy Water, and guys would call Muddy Water, and be like, "What's that boy talking on?" He on a 3,000.
Wow.
And man, you remember me and you talk. You called me. You said, "Pitbull, I'm coming up to New York." I said, "I don't know what you're coming for. I'm gonna whip your butt, going back to all your friends in Florida. I ain't gonna let you talk."
He did it too. I tried to find that spot in the Bronx. I got a couple keys in there, but damn, that spot you had over there off of that damn bridge, that boardwalk.
Yeah.
That was tough. The boys would hit me 60 feet. I got him now. Shit, right on, Pitbull. I'm like, damn it, man, he got me.
Yeah, man. You remember? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was
man,
all good, man. I love the sport. I love the sport, bro.
I know you used to love the key downs over there in the Carolinas.
Yeah,
And you used to go there all the time. And
yeah. I won the two alternator class 2 years in a row in the Carolinas.
yeah, competitor, man,
I've
competitor,
been
bro.
keying a long time, bro.
Yes, sir.
I had a stroke, you know,
When did
and
you have that stroke? When did you have the stroke?
in 2020,
Okay.
I was talking to Skyhawk on the telephone, and I fell out the bed, and I had the phone in my hand, and I said, "Yo, call my wife. I'm on the floor." He like, "What? I'm on the floor." He called her. The time she came from Brooklyn to Queens,
Wow.
30, 40 minutes
Wow.
with the ambulance in the fire department. Then I had to. Plus, I've been going to dialysis for about 8 years.
Wow.
So you know how
Wow.
that is. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
3 hours and 45 minutes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I had it today. But when you called me earlier, I was gonna tell you, nah, I don't want to do nothing today. I was,
Yeah.
I'm just tired.
It
And I
takes out
got
of
my
you. It takes it out of
granddaughter
you.
over.
Yeah.
But
It takes it out of you.
I mean, I appreciate Tony Montana. That's my boy.
Yeah.
He called me every day, text me every day.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that duck plucker,
Oh
man.
yeah, shout out to Tony, man. He gives me an inspirational quote. He probably gives it to you every day.
Yeah,
Texts
every
us
day.
every morning.
Ever since
Yeah,
I had the stroke, every day.
yeah, yeah. He's a
Tony
great person.
Montana,
Tony's a
a
great
big
guy.
up to Big Sash,
Big Sash.
Beetlejuice,
Juice.
to all my boys from New York. John Shaft, Brown Hornet. John Shaft is like a little brother to me.
Yes, sir.
Anything I got, I give John Shaft. That's my brother.
Yes, sir.
Like Sticky Fingers. We keyed DC. Now I got him into AC. He gonna be terrorizing. You watch. You watch.
Yeah. I see some special stuff he got in the back when he left.
Yeah.
He left happy
That's
as
my
hell.
brother. That's my brother.
Sticky Fingers, good people too, man. But yeah, with all the stuff that you went through, man, and man, it's tough, with the dialysis and then going on a stroke on top of that, and coming down because you have love of the game, your wife to support you in the support system you got with your friends and everything. 13-hour drive is no easy task for to drive down here, and especially every time you have to stop and then she has to help you get out and everything. We appreciate you and the love of the sport you got. So that's why Skyhawk and the guys are putting a GoFundMe page together for you. See if we can help you out and get a van, a wheelchair accessible van to help you out. Because I know you're gonna wind up getting a Mobile soon and that Suburban, and you're gonna wind up getting help and keying down, man. Because you still got that finger, you still got that other hand that you can put that maul on, man. I ain't gonna stop you. I know that.
Oh yeah,
put the hammer down.
The right hand and the right foot is good. You gotta match that gas. Match that
gas and key that foot pedal, man. But man, I appreciate you. Good to see you. Thank you. Whatever happened, you went. See, I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. So you went to the Ghost Rider to the Muddy Water, and after that, you kind of got out for a little while. Is that you still were running the 3000 when you had the stroke, or did I miss anything in between?
Yeah, I was running. I went from the Ghost Rider to the Muddy Water. Then I went to a double nickel 3000. I had a double nickel 3000, and then I had the stroke.
Oh wow!
But
do you still have all that equipment, or did you get rid of all that?
No, I got I got the Muddy Water box. I got it really 4 3000s, but Muddy Water got sick, and he converted it into 2 3000s.
Okay.
So it's really 2 3000, but it's set up for 4 3000s.
So you got the holes in the sockets and everything.
Everything's set up. Everything's set up. Yep.
Okay. So right now you currently got two. So if we was to put everybody together and get all the stuff that you have and put it. What would you put in that green Suburban that you got?
No, that's my wife's Suburban. She tell me already. No, ain't nothing going in there. That's her truck.
That's a pretty truck to drill. I was looking to see where we could drill some holes in that thing.
She's standing over there listening now. She said, "No, put a magnet mount." And then I told her, I said, "I want this kind." She said, "No, that look ugly." She wants something pretty. She don't want nothing ugly.
Oh my God! So what you still got that van, or what do you plan on doing?
No, I'm gonna put me in another Suburban, a '99 or something like that, you know.
Okay.
But I got all my alternators and stuff. I still got everything. I just gotta, get myself back together. And Big Stash is the alternator man. You know, he the alternator man in New York.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Good people. Yeah. Big Stash.
Controller told me he'll help me get everything together.
So you're in good hands. You're in good hands.
I'm in good hands. Yes.
You're in good hands. That's what's up, man. So we're looking forward to
definitely good hands.
A full recovery, man. You're doing you're going through a rehab and stuff right now.
Yeah, I go to rehab Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. I go to dialysis Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So my whole week is already jammed up, you know.
Yeah. But there ain't nothing wrong with that. Look at that. What Tony Montana said. He said 413. I want Pitbull back on the radio to key on me.
Yeah. Hey. I was the one started. Here, Tony. Here, kitty. That was me started that. I was the one saying, here, kitty.
That's some good stuff. So, guys, if you guys see the link, man, if you guys we gotta show our brother love, man. Pitbull, a living legend. Skyhawk, another living legend, man. I'm glad that you were able to come on the show, man, and share your story and kind of kick with us. Yes, sir. Come on.
Hey, the only thing I want to give shout out to Ghost Rider, T-Bird, Koki, Camaway. I've talked to all of these technicians, and they've all given me help. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like about this hobby, this sport, because if you know something, people will help you. I know there's one thing with technicians. They don't want to just talk, and people don't understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I notice when I have conversations with these guys, and because I know a little bit of something, they have given me a lot of help. You know, awesome. A lot of this I just didn't know, but talking to these technicians, they're not all just about the dollar. You know, they all will sit back and talk with you and give you pointers to keep you moving forward. And that's what I appreciate in this game. So I know I didn't mention I was talking about Muddy Water and all of that, but there are a lot of other technicians down here that just helped me along the way. And even today, I'll talk to Pitbull because Pitbull know everybody. I'll tell him something I work on. He said, hold on a minute. He does this like this. I said, yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to hold on a minute. And he just hangs up. And then he called me back. Okay, here, call Ghost Rider right now. Call him right now. Call T-Bird right now. Like when I was building a 10,000. Call T-Bird right now. And I talked to people I never talked to before. I bought some parts from Spider and all these different people. People, call this person right now. They're waiting for you to call. So Pitbull, he know everybody. He know everybody. And he gets help from everybody, or he'll get help for you from everybody.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing I always appreciate with him. You know, he always give me help for whatever project I'm working on.
He'll help you. He's right there because he know everybody too. So shout out to 55 as well. Shout out to Blade Runner up there in Connecticut.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't mention Blade Runner because Blade Runner helped me with my tank coil on my first 10,000. That was Blade Runner that helped me get from the 2-3, the coil that wasn't working right that I had on the 2-3s. I talked to Blade Runner, and that's how I was able to build that tank coil.
It wasn't the one on the floor?
There's one of them on the floor, believe me. There's a bunch of them. I got a bucket full of tank coils. But you know what? I didn't feel no way about it because when you went to Muddy Water's house, he had tank coils all over the floor. Everywhere. Tank coils.
But you got to perfect it. You got to get the right micro Henry. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But shout out to them guys, man. Shout out to you, Skyhawk, man. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Pitbull, man. Thank you for coming on, man. And kind of was a last second thing, you know. I'm doing this on my own now from here on out. So it's kind of like I was debating whether you even go on today, but I appreciate you guys stepping up.
Don't give up. Keep up the fight, man.
We're gonna keep going. We're gonna get another co-host, but I'm gonna have some polls next week, and we're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna keep it going, and we're still gonna have the competition. So y'all get ready, you know, for next year when we come back up to the Northeast Corner. I know Pip will hopefully be ready by then. And man, thank you, Pip, for coming
on. Heavyweights.
Big up for all the
Northeast Club still exists, and I'm still a member. I might have moved to the Carolinas, but I'm still a Northeast Corner heavyweight CB brother.
Yeah, man. Shout out to The Voice. Shout out to BA. Shout out to, I see a couple guys from the Northeast. Tony Montana up in here. Black Smoke from New York is up in here. a couple guys from the Northeast corner representing. Man, shout out to you guys. If you guys want to check out the GoFundMe page, we'll have it on the Big Hammer competition page and the podcast. So, like I said, man, click on it. Let's show our brother some love. Let's step up as a family and see if we can get him that wheelchair accessible van and help him. The man loves the hobby. Can't say nothing bad about the dude. He loves. He's a competitor. You might talk a little bit of shit because Pitbull, you talk a lot of shit to me, bro. Oh, yeah. But I know at the end of the day, you come up to me and give me a hug and say, it's only a game. It's only CB, man. So, you know, that's what I love about you. You're a great competitor, but it's nothing personal ever with Pitbull. I got nothing but good things to say about you, brother, and keep fighting the fight. I know we're all doing the dialysis thing, so we're here to lift each other up. And thank you for all the listeners for tuning in. Next week we're gonna have a great show as well. I'm gonna have the lines open to where you guys could come in and kind of. I wish I would have had the lines open today because I could have had a couple guys phone call and ask you guys questions as well. So it's kind of hard. My producer that produces the show is actually doing some DJ stuff, so he's not able to get the phone patch in line. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on my own. And we're gonna get a lot of stuff going, a lot of good things coming in the near future. We ain't going nowhere. Big Hammer Show is not going anywhere anytime soon. So, with that being said, Skyhawk man, appreciate you, brother, Mr. Pitbull.
Appreciate being invited.
Big up. Thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for listening. If you like the show, if you want to keep it going, man, just go to the YouTube page, just like it, love it, share it. That way we could keep it going. And shout out to all the guys that are doing podcasts, man. You know, there's enough food on the table for everybody. You know, the guys that are doing the show before us, the guys that are doing show behind us. I'm gonna go watch it. I watch the show before our show. I'm gonna do the show, and I'm gonna watch the show after us. So as long as we're lifting up the hobby and we're bringing the positivity to the hobby, I'm all good with it, man. What does it say?
My son, he's a little sick in the head.
That's some good stuff right there. That's some funny stuff. With that being said, we'll catch y'all next week. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna hold on real quick. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna sign off you guys real quick, and I'm gonna talk to the audience real quick. Thank you very much again, Skyhawk. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on. Thank you, Mr. Pitbull.
All right, bro. I appreciate it, man.
We're gonna get that GoFundMe game popping. We love you, brother. I'll keep in touch. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's gonna a little bit scrambled today, but we're gonna get it back on track starting next week. Love you guys. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. If you guys go hit that GoFundMe page, we'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. I'm gonna have some open phone lines, so y'all get ready because when I spit that number out, y'all gotta be quick on the draw because I believe I'm gonna have 2 lines that I'm gonna be able to communicate with you guys. So I'm gonna try to get you guys in here and get some phone calls in, and you guys will be able to kind of mesh in and get involved in the show. So much love to you guys. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to you guys. Hello 425. Hello to Mr. Cool Chains. Thank you for joining. Tony Montana. All you guys joining in and watching the show. Thank you for the love. Hit that like button. Hit the share button. Go to YouTube page. Subscribe. We're gonna have great content. As soon as what's up, Jigga? Shout out to you. I didn't recognize the name, Jigga, man. Shout out to you. Thank you, Cutoff, man. Appreciate you, brother. 37. All you guys, much love to you guys. Appreciate you. Got 2 Watt, Indiana. We got big things coming. We are gonna continue with the competition. We're just waiting for the skip to settle down. It's kind of been a little bit all over the place, and I want to make sure that when we go in that region 3, which is Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, that we have it locked down, that the skip is actually running really good. So we want to make sure we give you a good product and have everybody ready for when it comes through. Thank you very much. I see 1 Pills in the house. Who else? I see, hey, Big Daddy, Mr. Godfather out the sand pile. Much love to you guys. 711 Illinois. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it's a little bit crazy, but we're going to get it right. And just bear with me, and we're going to try to give y'all a good product. So much love to everybody. Appreciate y'all. The Big Hammer Show ain't going nowhere. And as always, y'all keep that big hammer down. We'll see y'all next week.